Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Trying to figure out this, it's kind of hard when you're doing the, yeah, do that one. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Yeah. All right, everybody, how's it going out there? Hold on a second. Let me, gotta send something really quick. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Jeez. Hey, thanks, Metal Mama Michelle. Yep, so we're on the jury watch now, even though it's not really watching. They're done for the day. That's what we're waiting for. All right, I gotta send something to somebody really quick. Hey, we got Metal Mama Michelle and the Toxic something. What does that say? Oh, Toxic Tink. Huh. I don't know what that means. All right, there we go. All done. Yeah, so how's everybody feeling out there? I mean, I'm, you know, I was told by somebody that they will retry him if it's a hung jury. Okay. Somebody that would know the answer to that question. If the jury comes back not guilty, it's not because the prosecution didn't put out the necessary information to convict him. It's absolutely certain that the information that the investigators and McClelland put out there is 100% absolutely pins in Richard Allen, and he is Bridge Guy, and he is the killer. Unfortunately, people's brains don't work the way they used to. We have a lot of people out there that are Like everybody goes, you got to respect I don't, man. I don't respect. If the jury comes back and says not guilty, I do not respect them. That means they're dumb, because and no, Gray, they were there. They heard it. Gray. No. Logic shows, this is my opinion here. Logic shows, and common sense with the information given is absolutely 100% Richard Allen is bridge guy and he is the killer. All right? It's not confusing. It's not ambiguous. It's not like, well, what about? There isn't a well, what about? There's none of that stuff. The only thing that they're buying into is the bull crap that the defense has put out there to try to make the, like, it's just look over here, look at the shiny object thing. They aren't saying anything. That the, what do you call it? They aren't looking at the facts of the case if they've come up with that. They're looking at the mumbo jumbo that the defense tried to put out to try to have them look in every other direction other than the reality. Okay? I don't know. I didn't hear that part. Let's see. Jasmine Parsons says, Gray, had you seen the sticker photos back when they were leaked? I don't believe they were placed by Odinus. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. Sticker photos? What? Why do you say that? What? Oh, who's Tracy? I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is just, it's been really frustrating for me not to be able to be there. But in some ways, maybe it's good, because I think I'd be too frustrated with people. It's too frustrating to me. If I was on that jury, and I would walk in the door and I had the information I had, I'd say, I'm voting guilty, and it doesn't matter what you tell me or what information you try to sell me on. Richard Allen is the killer, okay? Now, you guys can work amongst yourself, but that's where I stand. So at the bare minimum, it's a hung jury, okay? Go ahead. Go do your thing. I would actually walk through why. Okay, I would walk right through and say why. And then that's it. I wouldn't have any more to say. It takes 5 minutes to tell the reason why you would find him guilty. Richard Allen said that he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. He said he had a phone with him and he looked at stock ticker. Well, that was a lie. And that was from, and they did, what's interesting though, if Richard Allen gave them their IMEI number, it seems like they would have checked that phone. But see, that just shows you that lead just got buried, because they would have checked and went, well, that phone wasn't there. Let's go ask that guy some more questions, right? But that didn't happen. So here's the thing. Despite the errors that were made in the case, not collecting the branches, they all hurt them, right? I mean, it's like, okay, if you collected branches, they would have found DNA from Richard Allen. So it just sort of helps. It hurts the prosecution. And all of those things to me are, it's just like, okay, it sucks, but they still had absolutely enough information to convict Richard Allen. That's why he was arrested. That's why they didn't pin it on Keegan Kline or pin it on Ron Logan. I mean, how easy would it have been to pin this on Ron Logan, you guys? Would have been absolutely simple. It would have been like, let's see, Ron Logan's dead. We could just say, yeah, we'll just plant something. You know how they're accusing planting. Why not just plant the bullet in Ron Logan's house and go, look, he had a bullet in here, or something. Just invent something. And the thing is law enforcement had all of the information in this case for a long time. They had the bullet. They knew that a car was backed in at the old abandoned CPS building. They had the video. They had all the witnesses saying that they saw a person that was the same guy as Bridge Guy and various time frame. They even locked him in as the guy that Libby and Abby would then have to run into. They just didn't know who that person was. That's what's so amazing, you guys. Like, law enforcement for years had already had every single thing that's in the probable cause document They just didn't know who the person was. Then Richard Allen comes forward. Says he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. He went to the bridge. And that's really interesting because the four girls that were there pretty much were there the whole time and never saw him until he came in at 1:30. And his car driving by the Hoosier Harvest store matches that time frame absolutely perfectly. Drives by at 1:27 and 35 seconds. Pulls in probably at 1:28 and some odd seconds. Sits in his car maybe for a minute, who knows. And he gets out, takes 3.5 minutes to walk from the vehicle to the Freedom Bridge. Right in here, you can see it. Takes 3.5 minutes to walk that exact distance right there. So he's like there at 1:32-ish, 1:33, 1:34, whatever, right in that time frame. The girls were at a bench right here at 1:26. They walked this way and passed him right there. Yeah, I mean, I've gone over this like 17,000 times. But if you were just going to break it down into the simplest form, you'd say Richard Allen confessed to being, or he said that he was at the bridge wearing exactly the same clothing as Bridge Guy. There were 4 witnesses on the trail, 5 actually, that saw him and said he matched the description of Bridge Guy. They just didn't know who he was. And then Richard Allen said he went to the bridge and he stood on platform 1. And when Betsy Blair got there, one of those 5 witnesses, she sees a man standing on platform 1 who resembles exactly what Richard Allen said he looked like. And then, let's see. And then she turns around and passes Abby and Libby. Abby and Libby then have to run into that same person. And nobody ever saw that person again, nor did they see Abby and Libby again. Then at the crime scene, a bullet was found. And after they had arrested Richard Allen, or did a search warrant, they found a Sig Sauer P226 40 cal that shot ejected that very same bullet. All right. And it turns out that in his confession, he said he was at his mother's house, that they were going to have lunch. He didn't want to go to lunch, so he took off with his, got some beer, a 6-pack, drank 3 of them. Then he grabs a jacket, goes out to the bridge. He waits and watches, follows the girls, and then goes down the hills, going to assault them down below. And then when he's down in that area, he'd be down right there about 122-ish, or 222, excuse me, 222. And then right at that same time would be Brad Weber driving by in the van. He looks up, sees the van, gets scared, then he takes the girls across the creek, continues to do what he's going to do, and he ends up killing them, making sure that they're dead. And then he walks up to the road, and then he makes his way back to his car, goes home and finishes those 3 beers. He wanted to make sure that they were dead at the crime scene. Yeah, and he's confessed multiple times using information that only the killer would know. All right. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Hello. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for this verdict. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hey, and thank you up there to Kelly S. and BB Sure. You guys, and we're doing another show here, so if you have the ability to help support the channel, I don't know, I've been thinking it might be a good night to do another, maybe we send another $500. If you guys get the 500, I'll send $500 to the Abby and Libby ballpark directly out of the income. So I'll take a loss of 130 or so. If you guys want to reach up to 500, then I'll send in 500 to the Abby and Libby ballpark, which I'll continue to send money to over the years, just because that's what I want to do. All right. We gave 1,835 last month, and it'd be nice to get started on that again. Don't all just get started at once, guys. I can't believe the defense said that Brad Weber had sticks in his garage. Stupid. Yeah, he might have had sticks in there, but who cares? What if he did have sticks in his garage? I don't know. So what? So the hell what? Hey, there's Karen. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I think it might be. I think, you know what I think? Because I think they could have today could have stayed longer, but they didn't. It's almost like they all walked in and agreed to something, said they'll come tomorrow, and then they're going to do like a due diligence half day kind of thing, and they go, hey, we've reached the verdict. I think it's just so obvious. This is one of those cases that should be crystal clear, but unfortunately, you can see by the sheer number of wackadoodles out on the internet that there could be a percentage of somebody just like that on that jury. Hey, thanks, CR. And we'll do the ballpark if we hit the 500 mark. If we don't, then I'll just have to transfer it to another day until we get up to that number. And then I'll... Yeah, you think Saturday? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe the jury wants the family to have a nice weekend. There was a Koberger hearing today that I have a copy of. So I think later tonight I'll upload it and, have a sort of a live stream thing where you can just watch it and, you can see a lot better picture of him in the screen. I can tell you that. Hey, it's Tiny Bits of Magic and M. Morgan. I hope the prosecutors borrowed this from you. Who is Bridge Guy? Well, I got to tell you, Lauren takes such great notes that it's just ludicrous. You guys know exactly. I mean, I was kind of critical because, they didn't know the overall case as well, but it's sort of like, who cares, Her notes are like, if you took every single pool reporter, well, that doesn't even work. When you combine them all, they suck, okay? I'm just saying, they're just so there's been a couple times where there was good people out there. Hers are so detailed that I was like, oh, wow, okay, great, there you go. And I realized what they were doing. It was so much more information than the Wish TV blog. We say howdy here and Whiz-a-cow girl. And now I'm sure they know the case. They would want Friday to be their last day. I'm guessing a verdict end of the day tomorrow. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Gray, thank you for being an advocate for the families and truth. Gut feeling on how long the jury will be deliberate. I don't know. That's the funny thing is I don't have I was thinking tomorrow sometime. But they might want to make it look like they really went through everything one more time. And maybe they'll take a full day and then, maybe tomorrow. No, she's really good at taking notes. I don't know what she's doing in there. I mean, I want her to show me a picture of a page. Yeah. And I don't really need you to quote Bob Mata in here. That guy's been an embarrassment. Let's see. Thank you for supporting the channel, everyone. Zozo said, yeah, thank you. He's absolutely just a defense hack, jumping out there, trying to find every little which way and angle to try to get a double child killer off. If that's something you're interested in, well, you go ahead. I'm not one of those people. Praying for justice for the families. I mean, it's really kind of disgusting, I got to say. I mean, imagine again, like I've said before, imagine in the Madeline Soto case, if all of a sudden it became popular and people were defending Stephen Stearns. Like, hey, because there was one mistake made or something, a few mistakes, and it maybe takes a couple of years, and hey, this guy's being railroaded. Maybe that porn was actually from one of the officers, and they're trying to pin it on, and they'll just go on and on and on. That's exactly what this is like for me to listen to. It's sick, okay? All of them. Lawyer Lee, she doesn't know the case worth a shit. Doesn't know it at all. She went in there to get the popularity. Yay, yay, yay. and Andrea Burkhart, all those people. Okay. Now, these are my opinions here. So, I have the StreamYard's link here. So if people come up on there, you're not associated with my link. I mean, what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I just just don't understand it at all. These lawyers that are pretty young, now they're on YouTube and they're trying to help the the criminal, or are you trying to trying to sort of solicit future work because you were just so on it, or what? What's going on there? I don't get it. It's going to make his move on. Oh, yeah, I don't think so. Morgan. Why would he do that? Jeez. That doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Praying for Lauren W. said, praying for justice and for the families. Oh, yeah. I think I can click on him right here. There we go. Look at that. Families, thanks. Great. Well, thank you. And then this one is, I pray that peace and justice come for the families of Liberty and Abby quickly. I hope for a return to sanity for so many lost in delusional thinking. Now, there's these weird troll communities out there. They think this is the only case that I've ever covered. I think that's crazy. I am focused on it right now because it's been so important to me over the years, but during those same years, I've covered hundreds or if not thousands of cases in the last 7 years. There's some nights we did 8. It's like these old cold cases that nobody talks about. I've done the Idaho 4, and then every few months I might get back to Delphi a little bit. I'm not a one-hit wonder. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this case is so simple. It's just crazy. And the reason Richard Allen came forward, as I've said, and it's weird that it's sort of an overlooked thing, is, the girls were murdered on the 13th. The 14th, their bodies were found. The 15th, the newspaper put out a picture of Bridge Guy. And they said, we want to talk to this person and get information from them to see what they may have seen. Then Richard Allen, after seeing his picture in the paper, obliged them and called the very next day in the morning even. And gets a hold of the tip line, whatever he did. He drove in, or I don't know the exact, because I've heard two things, that he called the tip line, and then there's also that he went into the sheriff department and did that. And then the reason he did that is because I think he thought that he was going to be pointed out as being that person by maybe the 3 girls or just somebody in the public. But he looked enough different where it wasn't easy to say, oh, that's Richard Allen. So he just got lucky there. So he calls the tip line and says, hey, I was out there. And then 2 days after that, that's when Dan Doolin ran into him. Or he didn't run into him, but he met him at a grocery store parking lot. And that's when Dan Doolin got the fact that he passed 3 girls, that he went to the bridge, he was looking at a stock ticker, and he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was sort of interesting too, listening to Dr. John talk about. I mean, it's weird. You know what's strange about it? It's like I say the same things, but without the psychological bend on it. Like I've said the whole time, that Richard Allen seems that he's wanted to confess over and over again to unburden himself, and none of his family would listen to him. Then they bring up his dependency thing. That was kind of interesting. It kind of shows why, and it was out of character for him to go, no, I did it. But then later on, he would cave in and say, okay, maybe I didn't do it because he was trying to please the person that he's dependent on. But I don't know, man. I'm not sure I buy that Richard Allen has that disorder at all. I think when you watch that one video where his wife walks up on him on that car, he doesn't look like he's dependent on anybody. He look like, what the hell are you doing? Not that you can get a lot from one little short video like that, but I just don't know if he's really... Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Nathan. I don't know. He's probably doing okay out there. Who knows? Well, look at that. Richard Allen's bridge guy. And by the way, I said that like 6 months ago. Even before that, even. I've said, Richard Allen is bridge guy. I have a video that I made months and months ago saying the same thing. And then it was cool to see that the prosecution, and then they put a motion out there that stated Richard Allen is bridge guy. And I went, did they get that from me? Because that is the exact, that's what all you need to say is Richard Allen is bridge guy. And then everything falls into place, because then you can go, okay, well then that bridge, you know, his confession talks about ejecting a gun, a bullet, I mean. So what was that was said? It was kind of interesting that he said that that he placed the bullet at the crime scene. So that's interesting, right? So on the bridge, he ejects a bullet, and then he takes the bullet, and then he goes to the crime scene and leaves a calling card, because maybe he didn't realize that you could test a gun that has been ejected. Well, where do you get the pool notes from, Karen? Yeah. Let's see. He was calling in, I think, when you weren't really around much. A guy named Nathan. He was always positive. Yeah, but you know, maybe he put it in his pocket and it fell out, or he placed it there. Don't know, you know. Disgust me that he looks at the photos of the girls. Hey, thanks, Scorch PFG TV. Get the membership to the Bits of Magic. Anyways, I can put the stream yard up in the chat if you guys want. And if you have it, you can come on and let me know what you think. You don't have to have your picture on there. You can just talk. It'll automatically use your video unless you say you don't want to use it. You know what I'm saying? I think it was more like about like that. Yeah, I don't know if he has independent. I don't think he has dependent personality disorder. I know everybody wants to say that. I think he was just trying to make up excuses in there. I know that's what everybody wants to say, but let's see. Yeah, I don't eat apples either. I can't drink anyone. You know, it's like, oh yeah, he's got. Imagine Richard Allen, his mother, wife, and defense refused to listen to him. No wonder he rolls around in poop. I mean, maybe he does have that. It just, I don't know. He's just saying stuff that makes him think that. Right. Yeah. Thanks, Kelly. Yes, of course there was no Odinism allowed. It's completely bogus. You know, it's like it's just a conjured up. Yeah, they looked into something like that at the beginning, but they found no connection to anybody related to that. And then the defense wanted to bring him up as third-party suspect. Imagine how long this trial would have been. It would be another month if they were doing the Odinist crap. So it's weird how then instead of that, then they start trying to imply that it's Brad Weber. Well, how could it be Brad Weber if you guys thought it was an Odinist before? How'd that happen? That's weird. How come the Richard Allen fan club aren't a little bit confused about that same thing? Wait a minute, you're pinning it on Brad Weber? What about our Odinist, you bastard? Are you taking off, Linda? All right, see it. Let's see. Mallory Beavers. Someone on a different live was saying that Chris Watts only had to confess one. I know, we were watching that one. Right. His father believed him, and then there was no trial. See, Richard Allen's family is why Libby and Abby's family had to see the crime scene photographs that are now actually circulating freely out on the internet now. They're not hidden anymore. You know, people lost their freaking minds is what happened. I got a message. I didn't see that. Is that today? Oh, that was yesterday. Oh. Somebody invited me to be on their show. Jennifer Coffindaffer. I was like, well, maybe, you know. Hey, CR. Hey, thank you for the coverage on this case and older cases. Missy Beaver's case too. Yeah, I remember doing that one a long time ago. That one was pretty crazy. That would be a huge case now. I mean, it was kind of a long time ago, but I think if it was today, there'd be so many more people, you know, looking at it. Gray, how long have us locals and a lot of creators known about the white van? How many years, Gray? You have talked about yourself, so how is it only the killer would know? Well, hey, dum-dum, what happened was in March, I didn't hear about the van that you're talking about. I heard about in March that in one of the confessions, Richard Allen mentions a van in March of this year. So that means the confession already happened, and then I heard about it, dum-dum, okay? All right, there you go. Let's see. My 2 cents. Thank you. I never knew that Brad Weber had a van. Now, there was a dummy, another person making videos saying that there was a van underneath the bridge that was brown, a brown van that was like laying on its side on the underneath the bridge. Okay? That's not the same one. Yeah, it's weird when you get these people calling in and they just don't get it. Their brains are frozen, you know? That's not true, Gray. We can show your own screenshot. Really? Did you notice nobody knows nothing that they left off the year on those screenshots, you dum-dum? I saw it. It says March something, and then right below it says April was the confession, but there's no year on either one of those. So you're wrong, man. You are wrong, unfortunately, for yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. The freaks know it was earlier this year on the show that I mentioned, hey, everybody, there might be a rumor out there that he saw a van in one of his confessions. So that is true. Unfortunately, you've been deceived by the same wackos that you follow constantly. Wow. Scary times, scary times. That's not true, Gray. I saw this screenshot where you... Okay, here we go. Hey, thanks, Karen. I feel as if this is the OJ trial again. I don't feel like that. They're trying to do jury nullification. I mean, I can't believe that he actually said something like that. You know, like if you vote, hold on, let me tell you what it said. It was absolutely insane. I mean, he should be disbarred almost for saying that, or it should have been disallowed, in my opinion. Look at this. He said, oh wait, that wasn't the one. But that one? Yeah, I don't know where it is now for some reason. Yeah, he said something to the effect of, if you vote, like guilty or not, whatever it was, like I'll just paraphrase it. If you vote guilty, you're rewarding the state for their bad behavior of Richard Allen while he's in prison. You know, something like that. It's like, what? What does that have to do with anything? It's about the girls. Okay. Odinism sacrifice is usually done by hanging, not by throat cutting. But anyways, I can't see him anymore, but hey, nobody, nothing, 1717. Be a better person, okay? You know, try to look things up, figure things out, be questioning when you see that there's no year at the end of their little screenshots. I've seen it. It made me laugh. And by the way, why would I, I say, hey, everybody, there's a rumor that Richard Allen saw the white van in his confession. Well, that's the rumor. It's a confession that he already said. I heard about it. And you know what I think? Because I heard about it from somebody else. And, I don't even know who Walla is. Never even heard of her prior to that. Maybe it was in a document somewhere. Never heard of her. So if I talk to somebody, then isn't it really more likely that Mitch Westerman also sort of was talking to the wrong person and mentioned that? And then perhaps Bob Mata, who that Walla actually watches as well, got a hold of that information. I mean, makes more sense, doesn't it? I thought the same thing. I couldn't believe the defense said that. Yeah, they're pushing for jury nullification. I don't want to read the rest of it. Jesus. I feel that this is the OJ trial again. Their slogan at the end was, if the glove doesn't fit. Now, there was more there. Yeah, and then it says the slogan in this trial was, the magic bullet is nothing more than a tragic. No, that wasn't their slogan. The thing at the end, they said you must acquit because he was treated so badly. I remember the part about the tragic bullet, but I think it was more the other one. They want to have him be found not guilty because he wasn't treated very well in prison. And what a disgusting, if a jury does that, there's something wrong with you, because that means you're then foregoing the justice of the victims that person killed just to send a statement to, you can't treat a killer like that. Like, would you actually give a damn if that was your kid and the person who killed your kids was treated like that? Would you care? I'm just asking for a friend. I know the case, Karen. I know the case. I know they said it in their closing. I don't agree with you that was their main thing. I don't want to have the argument again, okay? I know you like to do that. I know that they said that. I read it. I heard it earlier. Let's see. Lily Blue, a coin phrase by Gray. Uncommon sense. There you go. And, common sense is not common anymore. That's the problem, especially on social media. I don't know. Yeah, I know that they said that in their closing argument. I just don't think that was the main thing that they tried the jury to hear at the end. I think it was mainly they wanted the jury to hear like, man, you've got to like send a message and find him not guilty because look how bad he was treated. That's what I'm saying, Karen. I don't agree that that was the main thing. Like, if the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. I think it was more like, if you think he was treated badly, you must have quit. We always get the truth according to the facts here, which is what true crime should, yeah, I mean, the word true crime, right, should always be about integrity. Some channels are just awful tabloids. Yeah, well, people love those ones, though. But here's what's interesting, you guys. So we the people that have been watching this channel for years, I was just talking to 8675309 earlier. I'm sure Karen and Zozo and everybody that's here have been watching for the whole time. You guys know the sort of factual elements of this case because I've gone over the probable cause to a point where people were probably like, again, Dre? But that's why, because look at it now, man. You guys all know the timing of everything. You've known it for a long time. And then when the trial's happening, you guys know the facts, right? And then don't you think it's weird then when you go watch a channel and you hear multiple pieces of information that just aren't factually correct? You hear it on all the lawyers' channels. Those guys out there, I've tuned in there for 15, 20 minutes. They're absolutely incorrect on multiple things. And so, and it's not an opinion thing, it's literally just incorrect, right? And so when you look at it, you go, wow, how come anybody's even trusting this? Because what you realize is, what if that means you watched other videos by them, right? And then all those other times when you didn't know the case, how do you know now that they weren't lying to you the whole time? I mean, like those other ones, you don't have a clue because you didn't follow it. So you're taking their word for it. But now you have an example of a case that they sounded exactly the same with the same intensity, whatever, and they were incorrect. So you might want to think about that. Hey, thanks, Ambermaid. Now that the jury has the case, I want to send a huge thank you for covering this case with facts, logic, and respect for the victims and family. Let tomorrow be the day. All right. And thanks for being here, one of the mods and a freak for one of the freaks for so long. And then there's Metal Mama Michelle. You are amazing, she said. Thank you. I know. I think I frustrate Karen sometimes because we always get in this little thing back and forth. The crazy thing is, if Richard Allen is found not guilty, well, no, if he's found not guilty, I said this earlier. I've said this for 3 or 4 days now. If Richard Allen is found not guilty, Abby and Libby will never get justice. And that's a fact, because Richard Allen is the bridge guy. He's the only person that fits into exactly all of the information. He is the bridge guy. There absolutely is no doubt about it. And it's just going, they're not ever going to look into it again. They are not going to go, well, let's start looking into it. They're just not going to do it because he is the guy. You know, they just weren't able to sell it to the new society of people out there that if this is the case, I'm just saying if that's the case, a society of people that common sense has long been sort of a lost art or whatever the hell you want to call it. I mean, the weird part is common sense should be common and like what most people use, but it's turned out not to be. People immediately, because of they watch movies and TV and stuff, everything becomes a conspiracy. They want some kind of, ooh, yeah, look what the defense is, ooh. And it's like, no, it's all just really plain and clear, you guys. It's plain and clear, very simple case. It's actually a really simple, basic case. Just one. Very simple. You see that? I mean, just watch the animation. There goes Richard Allen. Blue. Passes the girls. He goes to the bridge. Betsy Blair. Turned around. Passes the girls. And I guess by Betsy Blair's Fitbit, She was at the bridge at 2 o'clock. So that's amazing. That's a little bit longer than I thought. So he was still standing there at 2. That means then the girls must have been there at like 2:02 or something. And then got onto the bridge. But apparently Betsy Blair turned around at 2 o'clock there. And that just shows you how slow the girls were walking. Because I even said that like she passed them at that time. But man, they were probably even like here when she's at the bridge. And then look at that. Abby and Libby then run into bridge guy. Then he goes back, makes him feel safe, then takes him down the hill. Was going to assault them there. Then a white van drives by, and then boom, right over to the crime scene. Yeah, I'll never get old. Well, I just show it all the time because it's the visual representation of the probable cause document. Yeah, I don't know why death penalty is not on the table either. Maybe it was a punishment for some element. Maybe they didn't do something quick enough and then death penalty was taken off. Because the judge can like sanction either side for something. I don't know if that's the reason, but let's see. I don't know. Anybody have the answer to that? I don't know why they took that off the table, though. Yeah, the muddy and bloody part, I don't really care about that much, It's not the most important element. It doesn't even matter. If like the jury doesn't want to believe the muddy and bloody stuff, all you have to do is know that Richard Allen is this guy in blue. That's him. He got there exactly there. And then Betsy Blair sees him. Betsy Blair passes the girls. Then they see him, and they all saw Bridge Guy. Richard Allen, when Betsy Blair saw him, was standing on platform 1, exactly where Richard Allen said he was standing. He was wearing blue jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hoodie, and some sort of head covering. And then Richard Allen also said, when shown a picture of himself as Bridge Guy, he said, hey, is that you? Well, I mean, if it's me, if the girl took that photo, then it's not me. Why is there an if in there? Wouldn't it just be no? Because an if means if an element changed, then yes, it's me. Meaning if somebody else took that picture, then yes, it's me. Or if a camera took it, then yes, it's me. But if the girl took it, well, then it's not. We're currently at 154.60. So if we get up to 500, I'll send the entire 500 to the Abby and Libby ballpark. How does that sound? Which is, YouTube takes 30%, so I'll be losing 100 and something, but once we get to 100, that's what I'm sending, or 500, I'd send it in. I can't wait for tomorrow's verdict. But we have to hit the 500. If we don't, then I'll send it in tomorrow or whatever once we get up to that number. But I don't know what they're all about. But people love them, the Burkharts of the world. And look at me. I got 450 people watching, right? It doesn't matter what goes on. I can't get more than 1,000. And that's all that even know that I'm on, Nobody, you don't see it. And, it's just sort of a frustrating thing. They always say if a jury comes back with a verdict fast, then it ends up being not guilty. Yeah. Well, unless it's just really an obvious case. There's been cases that are really fast that are guilty because it's just so simple. Hey, thanks, Donnell Bryant, Missy R, Karen again, and Debbie Argas became a Megazoid. Well, thank you. Very cool, very cool. What's What does mean, Angel? Sarah Boone. Who's Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. All right, 173. I think Burkhart rose to prominence during the Johnny Depp trial. Yeah. Probably thought he was guilty too, huh? Actually, a lot of these people go with where the winds of popularity go. Believe it or not, I'm not. This isn't my opinion in this case. Is not popular on social media. Well, why type in then if it means Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Hey, look at that. That's Troublemaker Baker. I don't know how you catch all those comments when they're flying by like that, but you're pretty good. Got to give you credit for that. She's always pro-defense. Every single time, yeah. Is she trying to get a job or something, or what? Has she ever seen a case where the guy's guilty? Like, for example, Ryan Koberger is 100% the killer in that case. But I bet you anything she'll try to defend him. Get a seat at the table even, you know. I think it's really shitty that the defense team has two YouTubers that get to have their seats every single day. And they just get to sit there and they get to and then they go out there and they peddle the same crap. It almost seems like there's something wrong with it. And I mean, they get to sit in their seats that they're allotted. They're not at the table, I guess, with the lawyers. But yeah, the Idaho case, yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Mrs. Ryan. We're at 208. Kathy Allen reminds me of an armadillo. Yeah, Lauren actually might come join us at some point tonight. We'll see how that goes. I mean, if she can do it, I'm sure it'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, this is just. I mean, imagine if Andrea had her child killed, and then there was a person like her out there. You know, if she had a kid or something. I mean, how disturbing is that? You're gonna want. I mean, these people are out there defending double child killers. Yeah, she's like an attorney, a defense attorney that gets like 10,000 people watching. Like, I actually get why Lauren gets a lot of people watching, because her information and note taking is so amazing that it. You know, I'm just telling you, I got to get the pool notes. You know, like I even have the ones from today, and you look at it and you go, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. But like somehow she gets like everything in there. Must be writing up in the corners. And so if you really want the breakdown for a case that you can't be at, then that's it. My channel is for putting what you hear together and, you know, making it make sense. You know, and it's just simple, real simple stuff. Yeah. I couldn't do what she does in terms of trying to be neutral, you know. I think it's like this case, she sort of decided to be that way. I can't do that. When I see something that's just really obvious, I just call it out. And she's done that a couple times too. She just needs, you know, you can see that she needs to maintain a neutral feel to it. She's probably the only one that's maintained that. I know, it makes you feel like you're there. Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I've said. I mean, it's the closest thing you're going to get. I heard that she thought he... who? Someone made a good point about that yesterday, but what are you guys talking about? I have no idea. You guys are all answering a person that I can't see. How far up is that? Yeah, I don't see anybody named Jessica Miller in here. Oh, maybe right there. The other thing I'm confused about is why he said he attacked his daughter and sister, and they both testified that he never did. Well, I mean, don't you think that they probably just, if it's true, they're not going to say it. They're just trying to help him, Apparently the daughter was like looking away the whole time, didn't look at him, And also, I've said this since the beginning, I think he intentionally put false information out there to muddy the waters of the original true confessions that were so damning, that when he was totally lucid and talking, and he just put it out there. That's why there's 61. I think some of them, I think there's a good handful of them that are legit, And by the way, I think another thing to say is when you've already been arrested for a crime, how many people then also go false confess? I mean, I don't think that's a normal thing. I think the normal thing is that you falsely confess, you get arrested, and then eventually it turns out that your confession was, got inaccuracies in there, so they let you go. He put stuff in there that's incredibly damning. He became psychic when he got diagnosed. I mean, literally, he could see in the mind of the actual killer and knew that a van drove by. Isn't that weird? Man, that's incredible. Defense were throwing as poop around. Huh? Don't understand. All right, you guys, we froze at 215. We're trying to reach 500 to donate 500 to the Libyan Abbey Ballpark. If you want to donate to the ballpark on your own, feel free to do so. Yeah, well, I mean, I think they, like Lauren probably knows the same, like a lot about the case now, but at the same time, it's hard if you're just it's hard to have it like stuck in your brain, little things, if you haven't been covering it for a long time. Like I'm sure in the Lori and Chad Daybell case, when she covered quite a bit, that she probably has like memory of everything that you can put it together. So it makes it a little harder, But I think she knows it pretty well now, I can tell. Hey, thanks, Karen, again. Jeez, Karen. Karen, you're being really Karen. I mean, caring. Thank you for caring, Karen. That's what I was trying to say. Lawyers covering this lawyer, and AB are bringing their defense bias in. Well, of course they are. It's not something you don't need to type, I think, Lily Blue. They're absolutely putting their defense bias in there. Most defense attorneys never see anybody that's accused as being guilty of something. They just find a way. And that's where you know that I think the whole art of being a defense attorney is a little bit disingenuous. It's like, yes, they have to do a vigorous defense and adversarial system, whatever. But if you were going to ask me who, in general, like tells the truth more, a defense attorney or a prosecutor, I'd say it's like 90-10. And I'm, so 90%, 10% of the time, I don't even know what the real number is, but it's like they're out there, and there are bad prosecutions, that's for damn sure. But the defense attorneys, they're just out there to try to make confusion and something seem unreasonable. Thank you, Debbie Argust. You're my favorite gray. Well, thank you. Look at that. You've been around a long time. You got that sheriff badge, just like Amber and Zozo, etc. Paulette Leonard, Plato. I don't know who that is. 455 years, everyone else in Delphi is getting 8, 9, 10,000. Right. I don't get very many people watching Freshman Stacker. Maybe 1,000 sometimes. See, that person's being like a troll, you guys. Yeah. I'm not sure why you're missing that comment there, you guys. You need to be deleting those, okay? Hey, thanks, Lisa Polina. And then Karen. Man, how come you guys aren't deleting the comments? Mods? Hello? Jesus, I'll do it. Thanks. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to get rid of the trolls a little quicker than that. Welcome, Nicole Miller. Crime Time with B, Ami, Ida, Montejo, and Cantina. When did he eat his own? Is that how you really think you should type the word in like that in there? Man, these people, I tell you. Let's see. Stephanie, hopefully they were just doodling. I'm anxious for this verdict. Yep, I am too. I think, I don't know, I feel good. I think it's, once they sit around, they start putting it together, they're going to find him guilty. There might be somebody on there that's a conspiratorial nut job, though, and they'll end up saying, I don't know, though, what if it was that Brad guy? He was there, too. He was driving by. Maybe he was wearing the exact same clothing, and he's the one that ran by him, and then Richard Allen was on the other side of the bridge, and then he went over here. Well, no, it doesn't work with the timing, you see, because the guy in the video was there at 2:13, and Brad Weber was still driving on the road somewhere because he drove by he got home at 2:30. You get that, right? Yeah, but anyway, but Gray, I mean, what about the time when, oh boy, here we go. May I ask your opinion? Do you think that when he is found guilty, they will be outraged from the do-gooders, virtue signalers? I don't know what that means. No, there won't be any Innocence Project anything. They'll look at that and go, God, he's guilty as hell. See, Dr. John is like how you would think. He's like a logical thinker about it. Common sense. You just look at it. He's the guy, these other people, like the Innocence Project looks at things that are, there's a little, that's a little weird, that's kind of, no, this isn't one of those, you guys. This isn't one of those. It's really simple case made complex by a defense team trying to trick people. Yeah, we know, Jessica. That's Bob Mata. We talked about it. You don't need to put the name of the channel in there. There's no real reason to pump him up or anything. What does Dr. John say about it? He said that he thinks that, you could tell, he didn't say it outright, but you could tell he thinks Richard Allen, if it quacks like a duck, basically that's really what he was saying over and over again. He confessed. Isn't that it, you guys? And he confessed. His confessions came, and then almost immediately after that, his attorneys heard about it, and then things changed. I've been saying this for a long time, months. Things changed, and that's the key, is when you realize it's just bogus, that there isn't really I think he's faking everything in there. After his wife found out, and if he's not faking, I might blame the wife and the attorneys for not letting him unburden himself, to free his soul, as it were, to make him realize that he's now being accountable for killing 2 girls. And instead of him being able to do that, they convinced him not to. Now, you wonder why the defense would do that. Reported what, Lisa? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're referring to. You got to type it in. Just Gray has his voice here. Who are you talking to? What's going on in the chat, man? I don't even understand what you guys are saying in there. Yeah, basically everything that I've been saying, all of the stuff that we're hearing now in the trial for a long time. Okay. I even said that he's wanted to confess for a very long time, but he's not being allowed to. He's not being able to unburden himself. I believe he's faking the Yeah, me too. Now, if you're a psychologist, you don't want him to be, sort of more interesting, that the psychosis is real. And well, yeah, but he chose not to eat the food. So I just think it's all garbage. He probably was told, what type of behavior. Like, I bet one of the psychologists came in one time and said, "Hey, are you feeling like this? Are you presenting any of this? Are you eating crap? Are you doing this? Are you doing this and this and that?" "No, but I could be doing those things." "Let me get started on that tomorrow. Replete with drooling on the shirt, boy. That'll be really cool." Hey, Gray, I missed closing. Did prosecution stress Weber's phone records prove he left work at 2:02? I'm not sure if they stressed it, but they mentioned it again. Yeah. There was no information given by the defense that said he went to fix some ATM machines. I don't even know where that, they didn't bring it up. If found guilty, I wonder if he will apologize to the families like he had said he wanted to. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, he could unburden himself, but now he's like, "Hey, I'm all in on trying to get off, man. Somebody told me that if I accept Jesus at a later date, I'll still be able to get in. So, yeah, I want to live my life. Great. I can get back up on top of that gondola and say, ginger snaps, and got the wheelchair coming up. I can do that again, everybody. I can get back up there." I can't imagine the hurt the family had. Yeah. Let's see. Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. Another vote to hear Bridge Guy, Richard Allen voice comparison if you have it handy. I don't have, we don't hear his voice in there. I have him saying Rick. We heard him say, if you call his phone number, it's still active. Somebody's paying his bill or something. I don't know what's going on, but you call it and it says Rick. There's a wheel check coming up. I don't think that's good audio, but almost every single person that's in court and listen to especially that first 2022 October 13th interview, thinks that it sounds just like him. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Amber? Yeah, I think Richard Allen's full of crap. I absolutely do. I think they just convinced him, and now he knows that. Like, okay, if you believe in the dependency thing, then he's like, well, hell, okay, you guys are wanting me to not admit to it, so okay, that's what we'll be doing. That's kind of what Dr. John was saying. He takes that Bible, that big Bible, this huge Bible. It looked like, why not just bring a Torah in there? Like just the big scrolls and lay it down and act like, well, I'm reading the Old Testament today, guys. I can't wait until YouTube fixes whatever glitch it is that causes up to freeze up. Yeah, there's something going on. Sometimes my chat actually stops, completely disappears, and I have to like refresh it up there. Yeah, the Dead Sea Scrolls, something like that. Pretty soon we're going to see him, with the Dead Sea Scrolls. He'll be chanting in Hebrew up there. Oh, it's going to be just amazing, man. I don't know about you guys, but I think they should have a new law that if somebody starts studying the Bible and they accept Jesus while they're in prison, we just let them go, man. I mean, that's what they want us to believe, that all of a sudden they're these great people. And man, how do we know they're not great people? Just let them go. They're great at that point, right? I mean, we could put Ed Kemper back out there. We can put people like Richard Allen back out there. Maybe Jeffrey Dahmer, before he was taken out by somebody else. I mean, man, wouldn't that be great, everybody? I mean, why do we even have prisons anymore? Sir, did you kill those people over there? I did. Well, listen, take this Bible home and read it tonight. Let me know what you think. Okay? All right. Have a good night. Let's see. Holy rollers. Let's see. Quizzy Cowgirl. Okay, you guys, we're at 283. We still got another couple hundred and some odd to go. So once we get to 500 later in the evening, we'll send in 500 more to the Abby and Libby ballpark because we actually give a damn over here. I wonder how much good old Andrea Burkhart's giving over thousands and thousands of each show. What do you guys think about that? Probably not much. But anyways, wait a minute. I see somebody in the background there. Is that her, Lauren? I got to add it to the stage. You ready? Let's see. You're there, right? I can't hear you, though. I can't hear you. Yeah. Here, let me make it bigger. Wait, I think.
Can we
hear you
now? Is that working?
I can. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
Look at that, everybody. Whoa, it finally happened. Look at this. It's a miracle.
Finally. Yes, finally. It is a miracle. I'm telling you. Covering this Delphi trial is a miracle, this Richard Allen trial. So thank you for your patience. Great.
Well, I do have to say that, it's been absolutely amazing how you've covered it.
Thank you.
That's
kind.
And I actually say that because, I get the pool notes. And every time I read them, I just go, yeah, nope. Then I go listen to yours, and it's like being there.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. My hand is sore, but today I did feel good. Like I know the times where I miss a lot, and I know the times where like I'm doing the best too. And like today with closing arguments, like especially I was like, I think I did a good job, but it does depend on the day. I have my ups and my downs covering this, but I'm trying my best.
Well, how was your dinner? Did you get a good dinner?
I think it was actually, we're not eating. I'm not eating. So it was like this moment where, you know what? I think it's good. Like, I think we could just go grab something. We grabbed something at a restaurant, actually. Some of my friends are still in there, and it's the first dinner I've had besides like a Snicker bar or,
Oh,
a
really? Jesus.
spoonful of peanut butter in about since I returned back after Halloween. So
Wow.
there's just no time. And in Delphi, there aren't even really, there's a couple of grocery stores that are small, but they're not open late. And so by the time we're out and even done, there's no grocery store that's open. It's just, yeah. So
Yeah.
finally ate. And I think that we're all going to sleep just a little bit tonight. We do have a line sitter tonight, but it's not like we're going in somewhere tomorrow, right? The jury
Mhm.
is deliberating. They'll reconvene tomorrow at 9 a.m. And so what we're essentially doing is there is a long line on the sidewalk of saving seats, and uh, I don't even know how to explain it. I probably need to write a book on the line in Delphi after this,
Yeah,
but
it's weird. It's so weird. I've heard
the
so many
rules
stories.
the rules change every day.
Yeah.
So we just feel like we can't leave it, even though we know that we're not necessarily going to go walk in at 9 a.m. It's like we have to be there. It's odd.
So
So
what was there was something about like you couldn't have line sitters that could hold more than one spot. I mean, what were the rules? Because
oh gosh.
I don't know if they, I mean, maybe just not that it matters that much. I'd rather talk about the case, but it's pretty crazy. Just the,
Yeah, no, yeah, it is. No, I'll be quick and then we'll talk about the case. I mean, I can't explain it better than just saying the rules change every day. Like that truly is the case. So for the first week, I like the first 2 weeks I was easily doing lunch lives because it was okay that I had a friend that shared my spot and people knew like during the lunch line that I would go out, and then it started to say, no, you can't go out anymore. And it's body for body. And then if you aren't in your chair, then you can't go in. And then it became a bunch of ghost chairs for a while. And then,
oh,
I
geez.
mean, it's like every day changes. And then you can't line up until 5 p.m. or you can't line the night before. First off,
Uh-huh.
nobody's lining up until 10, but then it becomes 5 and then it becomes 4. And then people are lining up and they have their line sitters lining up before court gets out. So they get a head start. And so then it's like, oh, if you don't have a line sitter or someone else with you, you are screwed. Like it's just, so you're right. It's the case matters more than this, but if anybody's interested, I you have to be here to believe it. Most trials I've covered, and I have covered more trials, they usually get easier as the time goes on because you sort of learn that you're there for the right reasons, and everybody
Uh-huh.
sort of is like, okay, you're a regular. Everybody settles down and calms down, and this has been the exact opposite. Every day gets harder.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it
Yeah,
is.
and I think there's actually some bad actors that are intentionally, because I've seen posts where there was people that were going to intentionally try to like get the seats from people that might be more supportive of the family and so forth. I mean, it's turned into sort of drama, isn't it, out there?
It is. I do my very best to stay out of any drama, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on any comments there. But
Yeah. Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
you know, um, what matters here is Abby and Libby, and let's just hope. And you know what I've realized too, I've come to peace with the line too. Honestly, while I've worked very, very hard to get in as much as I can, if there's ever a moment I don't get in, I just sort of have this peace, like, look, it's okay. But today I was in the whole day. Um, and I had to have multiple line sitters to make that happen. So I guess I also just want to say I'm not doing this on my own. It's been a village, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this is Lauren from Hidden True Crime. She didn't put the name up there, but
Sorry, I just jumped
it's
in.
okay.
Oh yeah, it says
It's
Lauren and
okay.
John Matthias. They didn't ask me to put it in.
Oh,
I
they
did
didn't
not
have
put
that?
that
Oh,
in. No, they didn't ask me. So
oh,
I
must
would
have
have put
figured it out.
Lauren. Yeah, because I am not two people. I am just one.
Yeah. So how are you feeling right now? I don't know if you can have a moment of like, there are in deliberations, so it's pretty much over, right? I mean,
They are, Gray, the best way to explain it is, well, let me just go back. I decided to cover this trial because there's no audio and there's no video in the courtroom, which is honestly why I came. I was like, wow, because I believe in transparency, and I thought, maybe I can be of benefit here. And then I have covered other trials, and I've always editorialize a little bit more. You know, I covered the Chad Daybell trial,
Mm-hmm.
would do these lunch lives or these things, and I would definitely like share my opinion more. And as I got here and I sort of saw what was going on, I thought, you know what? The best thing I can do is just share what's going on every day without a lot of my opinion or editorializing. And so that's what I've done with some. I'm not saying I'm not biased, but
Well,
like,
no, you've been great at that, actually. I mean, because I can see your wheels spinning, like you kind of think something, but you kind of don't say it, you know?
yeah, right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not dismissing that I do have some bias, but I have worked very hard to just try as much as I can to put a lot of that aside and just like, let's listen. And I have, admittedly, I want to say this, I'm admitting bias, but I also want to say I truly I'm here with a very open mind too. I'm like, I really convince me, you know, one way or the other. I want to like sort of be in that courtroom feeling like I'm a juror. Like, what would I think? So
Mm-hmm.
fast forward to today, and there have been a couple other days. I kind of, now that all the evidence is out there, I kind of shared with our hidden gems what I'm feeling. Like, okay, this is where I am, and I am admittedly in the team of, I see Richard Allen as being guilty of being bridge guy. That's where
Right.
I am. So, and trust me, I'm going to answer your question when you're like, how are you feeling? I feel like I just need to like put people where I am. And so that's where I am. And I admitted that today. And so being there, I listened to the closing statement of the prosecution, and it was incredible. I got the chills. I cried. You know, I thought they did an excellent job. It made sense to me. I was like, this is why I feel he's guilty. They just laid out all of the evidence really well. And then I listened, and then there was a break, and I was kind of like, because right now it's what I feel. I'm like, okay, they kind of confirmed again how I'm feeling. This feels good. This feels right. And then we went back in for the defense, and it was incredible. The defense did a really good job. And what I think the defense did really well on is hitting the emotions. I really did get the last bit of that testimony almost verbatim, not the whole thing, not the testimony, excuse me, the closing statements,
Mm-hmm.
the last bit of it almost verbatim, not the whole thing verbatim at all, but like the last bit. And there was a moment when they were talking about making this moral decision, being this compass, and like making the right choice for something, sort of like implying some
Like jury
like,
nullification. They were trying to get you to make a decision not based on the facts, but emotions, right?
it was emotional, and what they used, I think, was compelling to some of the jurors. And I think it was this stand up for the little guy, you know, anti-government sort of a
Yeah.
speech in a way. Like, you know, this is the government. They're torturing this man, and who's going to stand up for the little guy, right? Who's going to, you know, I don't know. Like, let's free Richard Allen. Let's do something important, because I I I'm going to say this. When they started that speech, I looked at the jury, because there's two men particularly that have my attention, that take vigorous notes, and they seem to take more vigorous notes with the defense. And I don't know where they are. They concern me. And I watched them, and one of them was almost grinning at this inspiring moment by Rosie, and Rosie did an excellent job. I can't deny that. I cannot, like, and so I'll also be honest, like, so that happened, and then I went out to do my lunch live, and I, it was like, I went from like a high to like confusion, and I didn't really know what I was feeling. And admittedly, I told someone after the prosecution how amazing it was. And then I went back in after the break, after both of them, and honestly, it was Becky. And she said, so how are you feeling now? And I was like, it was like she almost, you know, I don't know. But she said, and I hope, well, no, I'll leave that. But I guess I hope that logic, I mean, where my mind is
Right.
logic.
Yeah.
And I
Common
hope the
sense.
logic, Yeah, common sense. I hope I hope that that's where the jury takes this. But then I have to be honest too, Gray. Like, I'm talking to a lot of people because it doesn't really matter what I think. It matters what everybody else is thinking in that courtroom. Like, what's everybody else feeling that's been in there? And I have to tell you, like, there are some people that have been in that courtroom every day that they're not the jury, but they have some doubts. And my point is, it is not clear cut. I don't know what. I don't know. I
It
don't
should
know.
be. See, my opinion is the prosecution has put out the information, and it's there that it is clear cut. It's like literally, Richard Allen is bridge guy. He confessed with information only the killer would know, and there was a bullet, and the information, the bullet found at the crime scene that was ejected from his gun. So when you look at it, and all the stuff that they're doing is sort of smoke and mirror. Like, look at this. Believe this about something. Believe this. Believe this. Look at that. They didn't do this. They didn't do that, and they want you to look in all these different directions. So I think there's people. But whenever I have this little map thing that I go over, and I go through it, and it's animated and it moves around. Everybody, when they watch it, you go, oh, it's obvious. He's bridge guy. If he's bridge guy, then everything else falls into place. So it's just sort of strange that there's these things like jury note, like what you were just saying. Let's do one for the man. Forget the 2 girls that he killed. Let's look how he was treated for in prison, and let's make it just seems crazy to me. And people are going to do it. Maybe there'll be some holdouts. I don't know. But
I think there might be some holdouts. I mean, I think that there are some people in the jury absolutely that think he's guilty. But I do think there are people in the jury that think he's innocent. So I don't know where they're going to go with this, right? And back to your videos, Gray. I want to compliment you. Your videos are excellent, and they do really, really help. And you've done an excellent job showing that visually. I think they're so important. I feel like the prosecution honestly should have used them. I mean, maybe they couldn't. I don't know. But
I did actually offer that about 6 months ago. I go, hey, look at this right here. And I guess, wasn't there, they didn't take me up. I was going to do it for free. But I guess the problem would be, is the defense would go, well, where'd you get that video? And then I'd have to say, well,
yes,
we got it from this guy. Oh, YouTuber. Oh, and they go, look what he said here. He said he's guilty. He said, oh my God, it's so biased. And then, so they'd have to make one themselves.
This is a game of cat and mouse. Like, every time they choose to bring a piece of evidence or a witness, each side has to imagine, well, how will they be crossed, or what will they say? And a great example of that is Dr. Walla, who I actually thought was an excellent witness for the prosecution. It made so much sense, and somehow the defense has put all this doubt in people's mind about her professionalism because she listened to you and she listened to other podcasts, and she was fascinated by the case.
Right.
I've asked my husband about this, you know what I mean? And so that's like a great example of, like, she was an excellent witness for the prosecution, and then the defense comes around and they do their thing. And so, so if they used something of yours, they have to then deal with the cross, right? And how that might.
I wonder if there's something different, if it's like demonstrative though. Like, maybe if you're not using it, they'll still just go, oh, who created that? Bob, we know how that would work. And then they'd say, well, look, this is what he said on one of his shows, that Richard Allen is bridge guy. So we can't use that. But I mean, why not? They should make something similar. Weren't you saying that they did use something on the screen, a map, and he was showing where Betsy Blair was and things like that?
Yeah, he was pointing to a map. I mean, this was like a map on our phone. You know what I mean? Like, it was like if we were opening up our map app, he was like zooming in on it and everything. So that's kind of what he was using, like zooming in on just like map and pointing it out with a pointer. And they did do at the beginning of the trial, it was like, was it the first day or the second day where they did do a tour through the Monon Bridge, the High Bridge Trail. Like, this is how far it would take, and they took like what do you call? I don't have them. You probably have tons of them where you can put the camera in the air and go.
Oh, drone, yeah.
A drone. Thank you. Like,
I do have a bunch.
Right, you probably have 50 of them, and I still haven't bought my first one. And it was good. It was good, but I think they could have made things clearer.
So when they were pointing around, were they actually putting a dot or something where Betsy Blair was, or was it just pointing and trying to you had to kind of follow it around.
They were pointing and following it around. I mean, McClellan did a good job. Like he was zooming in and like really showing, and he was showing like a pattern, like this is where, but there were
Mm.
no, yeah, it was no dots. There was
Yeah,
no,
that's such a huge thing to just see how you put Richard Allen on the bridge, and then here comes Betsy Blair, and he's standing on platform 1 exactly where he said he was standing, and then she turns around and then passes Abby and Libby. Then they have to run into bridge guy, which is Richard Allen. I mean, the thing is, if you followed all along, he's Richard Allen at every step. And then, something that was interesting that that just came out yesterday. I don't know if it was for me or not, but I texted the investigators and I said, "Hey, do you guys realize that the 4 girls actually clear the entire area on his other story where he said he got there from 12 to 1:30? Because we just heard that now we have the image at 12:25 from Bree on the Freedom Bridge, right?
mm-hmm.
And so that means she walked all the way down, met the other girls or whatever. Maybe they all went together. I don't know. And then when they turned around and came back, they still hadn't seen Richard Allen that whole time. So that means his 12 to 1:30 story is totally fake because he would have been on the bridge or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that wipes that one out, and then they see him coming in at 1:30, which means that his original story at 1:30 to 3:30 is true, and you see his car driving by, a vehicle with the same rims, and they didn't mention that in the closing, though, right? So that's a huge deal that had the rims that only that year had.
They mentioned see-through tires in the closing, and I might not have like grabbed that, but I do remember them kind of saying like his car, as you can see, like they pointed out the car on the Hoosier Harvest surveillance, and they said they recognized it as his car, and they might have even said, see that you can see through the windows, and maybe I didn't like write it, but I feel like I remember them saying it. Like I'm like listening and like writing so fast, and I do feel like they might have like mentioned that, and maybe I just they saw his car at this time and I didn't write it because I do feel like they might have said like you could see through his wheels. That's how they explained it.
Okay.
See, you could see through his wheels. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go back and check my notes. But if I didn't write that, it was because I was like, I was just like car found, I was just like, got it.
You have you have your notes with you? We can show what it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
I want to see. I want to see what one. I just want to see one page, like right in the middle of it. I just can't imagine what it looks like.
They are not here, but I'll do you a favor, Gray. I will text you one tonight because it was really fun. I'll show you like how I was taking like the closing statements today. I do think only one person can read them, and it's me. And I don't know shorthand, so it's like my.
That's what I was going to ask.
I don't know shorthand, but I think it's just my own created in my brain shorthand, so like only one person can read it, and it's me.
I thought that was a cool idea to send in a. I mean, that's pretty cool though. But you must. I don't know if you're just like, but I guess I'll see it later. But I thought it would have been cool if you guys all went together and gave one of the seats to an actual court reporter shorthander, who you get the literal. That would have been amazing, right?
It would have been amazing, right? Like. Right, you go sit in there. You get everything. Of course, they have to have really, really good hearing too.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, sometimes you can't hear, and
I did take somebody's advice, and I went to CVS. Yes, the CVS. There's very few things in Delphi. You've been here, but I went to CVS, and I did buy some like over-the-counter hearing aids. They were $55, and I thought they were going to work because I put them in. I'm like, oh wow, I can hear everything, but
oh wow.
When I put them in the courtroom, I could hear all of my neighbors and all of the background noise, but I still couldn't hear the speaker in the front. Like, I don't know. So I had to take them out. I mean, but my point is we're all trying. Like, we've all tried different things.
Yeah, you can hear everybody's gurgling bellies right next to you, but not the...
Right. So I'm like, now I can't hear it all because I can hear this person to the side of me. Right. Their stomach's growling, but I can't hear that in front. So
how many like what's the thing that what's something that the defense has said that you go, oh wow, because there's no smoking gun or anything like that they've said, right? It's just sort of creating issues or doubts and things in people's minds, just
so I'll tell you where I feel they've done well. I mean, they've done a really good job creating doubt, what you just said. And I also want to acknowledge, like, these attorneys I'm really impressed with all these attorneys. Rosie's a great attorney. I think he was excellent on closing statements. Sometimes I think he can get a little like maybe too much on cross where it rubs him wrong, but like his closing statements were excellent. McClelland is such an incredible attorney. Baldwin's a really good attorney in his own way, in like sort of being this guy's guy with his arm around Alan and being a little bit more soft spoken. I don't know. They all have these different skills. I think Ajay's really good. So just being honest, you know, so where the defense has done a really good job is I think they have done a really good job creating doubt in witnesses where they are expert witnesses, and it's hard for a lay person like you or me or the jury to really understand this expertise. And so it's easy to confuse those of us in the gallery as well as the jury. And a great example is like the Melissa Oberg, the firearms toolmark expert. She was an incredible witness, and the defense drilled her to the point where now I think people are like, well, maybe it wasn't, you know, that certain. Like they, honestly, I don't know if the prosecution's done a great job with that either. I don't know if you caught it, but in McClelland's rebuttal, when I read it, he said in his rebuttal to what the defense said about that, he said, you know, she decided, or you know, her opinion, and I want to be like, it's not opinion, like, so
Yeah, right. You know,
like even the prosecution is not helping. Like, this was a conclusion, not an opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Science is a conclusion. So
yeah,
I do believe that the defense has taken something like that and really created confusion and doubt around the tool mark analysis. And those things are easy to do because we don't understand it as laypersons very well. Like I admitted when I was reading those notes, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. Like I'm trying, like sort this out with me together. So there's the subclass and the individual, and you know, even I'm learning, right? So that's a great example. And so then when you have cross and you're still even processing what all the information means, they can easily confuse and create doubt. And then when their expert comes, and maybe this is a good way to explain it too. I am married to a criminal psychologist. So when Dr. Westcott gets on, so when they criticize Dr. Walla, I'm like, I like understand it. I'm like, oh no. Like Dr. Walla's fine, right? Like I'm really grasping what they're doing, and I'm grasping Dr. Walla's expertise and her education, and I'm understanding it because I'm married to and work with a criminal psychologist. So it's like I just am understanding a little bit more. And then when they bring Dr. Westcott on, I'm talking about the defense. When the defense brings Dr. Westcott on with her entire analysis, which I respect her entire evaluation and I understand what she did, it doesn't scare me. Like I get it, right? But I realize that the rest of nobody else does, and they're confused. And so when it comes to the tool mark analysis, it's over my head. I do not get it. So I'm one with the public when like, is this, you know, it's like you're getting gaslit, like by the defense. Like you think you have an expert come on and tell you a conclusion, and then they bring on these expert witnesses that like almost gaslight you into thinking, well, maybe this is wrong. And and so I've had help with that. You know, I went on, you know, another YouTube channel that had a tool mark analysis, and he answered my questions. And then I'm able to jump on with my husband and he answers my questions. The jury doesn't have that, right? So I just wonder if they're going to be left so confused by these really solid pieces of evidence because of that confusion. That was a very long-winded answer, but I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, here's the thing: is I remember when we got the probable cause like I don't know, year and a half ago, and then once I worked through it, just even with the motions over here, like he was bridge guy a year and a half ago. I mean, the only thing that's happened is it got stronger. So the thing is the bullet. I almost forget the bullet in the story every time I tell it. It's like I go through the story, and I don't mention the bullet, which is a big deal. Like, oh wow, it means he was at the crime scene. But I think once you show that he's actually bridge guy, then everything else you just you're just going to believe, right? Because it is him. There's only one person in the world. It was he had the day off. It was, I mean, how many other people look just like him on a Monday at 1:30 on a work day, and he just happens to be standing exactly where Abby and Libby are going to be walking, and he admits to being wearing exactly the same clothing, and there's no out for him. When you do the animation, it's like he's stuck over here, and if he had left, Betsy Blair would have seen him as she's walking around on the trail. She would have seen him, but she doesn't. And so it's him. And then it's like, okay, well, he's the one that ordered him down the hill, and that's all you need to know. I mean,
Right.
whether or not, it's felony murder at that point.
Right. I'll feel, yeah, I agree with you. I feel like to me, the most compelling things are the confessions.
Those are huge. Yeah, those are.
The day that was most compelling to me that I sat in was actually the day where back to back, within like 2 hours time, they had like 7 witnesses, all different correctional, employees, saying he confessed to me, and they were all separate and they all had different shifts and they all had a different story. I mean, that was fascinating to me. And
and you heard him confess too, right? Like in some of the interviews. Let me ask you something. The one where he is, you hear him talking to his wife. Does he just sound totally normal? Like he's calm and just like,
yeah. And today, just so you know, today they turned it up. It was really quiet the first time everyone heard it, and the prosecution had them up. And and of course, Kathy and his mother were saying, "Don't talk." Janice is her name. Because I'm sure they talked to the attorneys, like, don't let him talk. And so they were like, don't. And he was adamant about talking to them and saying, I did this. It was the opposite of coerced. I mean, if they really convince the jury that these are because of mental illness, 61 confessions that make sense with accurate information are coerced. I mean, that'll be a first. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
We were talking about. We tried to do like last night. I was trying to figure out like a good argument. I was thinking it'd be cool if he'd started the whole thing off by playing Richard Allen saying, "I would never lie to something I didn't do," and then immediately you cut straight to, "I did it." I did it to Kathy, and then she says, "No, you didn't." "No, but I did." Like that. That would have been really cool because it's like you're contradicting yourself. You just admitted that you would never say it unless you did it, and then there you go. You're saying it.
You know what I think was one of the most compelling things, and people didn't really, I think, pick it up, but when Dr. Westcott, the defense's attorney, or not the attorney, excuse me, psychologist, testified, and she was impressive and she did a great job. She did an entire evaluation with testing on Richard Allen, and she actually came up with all the same diagnoses that Dr. Walla got without the testing. So I was like, okay, so first off, I feel like you're showing us how impressive Dr. Walla is, because she got all the same results almost without any tests. The depression, the dependent personality, some bouts of psychosis and anxiety, right? I'm like, okay, solid. She explained that he wasn't malingering on his tests, and people didn't get that either. He wasn't malingering. That means and this is probably stuff I know because my husband's a psychologist, like on the test results, when you take these classic tests, that you have to have some questions that prove that you're not over exaggerating or trying to make yourself look better or not answering dishonestly, right? So there's a section in these tests where they're sort of using a tool to check out malingering. And Dr. Westcott said he was not malingering. He's telling the truth. He's honest, in other words. But what she was referring to were the tests that he was taking. And to me, I'm like, so Richard Allen is honest. He is honest. He is answering this test honestly. He's an honest dude. Like, he's not confused. So
And the defense brought that up, right? The defense did that, right? Wasn't that the defense?
Yeah, the defense did this. And I feel like in those moments, I was frustrated with the prosecution for not driving that home the best they could. Like, point out that what they're saying is he's an honest dude. He's honest. He's telling the truth. Like, he's not lying about who he is. He's taking this test honestly. He's not exaggerating. Like, he's a truthful dude. He's telling you
Yeah.
the truth when he testifies, you know? So there were some moments like this where maybe I feel like they, you know, could have just pointed out some interesting things.
I think that one of the things I was thinking, I don't know if it, if I got all the notes right or anything, like, because I'm not there, but when it was when he was talking to, let's see, what was it? I think it was even in the closing argument, or maybe the other day when we were talking about Richard Allen taking his daughter across the bridge. I think it was when his daughter testified.
Yes.
And she said that, yeah, we went out across together. And I think it would have been a cool time to say, so he helped you across the bridge? And she probably would have said, yeah. I'm sure she was coached, but she would probably answer that, so he helped you across the bridge? Yeah. So that would get in mind that, oh, he's really used to getting across the bridge. Because I think if you had asked, so did your dad go across that bridge a lot? Like she would have already had that planned. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I think a little sneaky little side comment
right.
to make it, because you want to get that he is a regular across that bridge. He is, because he's hustling. He got across that thing lightning speed. I have a friend that walked across in 3.5 minutes. A woman who the first time she was there just was like ding ding ding, really confident. Used to be in construction, just boom right across that bridge. So people have that ability,
They
And
do have that ability. Yeah. The idea that he went across that in 7 minutes or less, I mean, a lot less, like, I don't understand why
Yeah.
people can't see that. That's a long time. 7 minutes is a long time. And if you've gone across this bridge, she did say on the stand, Brittany did say on the stand that she was scared and she didn't want to go, but she went, which was sort of like, as you point out, imply
Yeah.
that he helped her across, and he felt confident enough to take his daughter, who was scared, across this
Yeah, there you
bridge,
go. Yeah,
right?
that might be good enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
But do they put
yeah,
that
no,
together?
I know, like push it a little bit more, but
Uh-huh.
right, and there's a lot too that we don't remember, and so I think also, I guess the jury will look at everything. You know, the jury will look at all these points. So hopefully they just use logic and not emotion, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
see it all. But I just don't think it's clear cut, and I say that from multiple people I've talked to in the courtroom. I am so surprised at how divided the courtroom is, and how, while I am honest about how the evidence compelled me to think, that's not how everyone's thinking.
Did you ever read the what do you call it? The Frank's memorandum, or the
Yes.
in support of the Frank's hearing, that thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that document is what divided everybody. So all these people started going and pretending that was like, oh, all this other stuff, and then there was like a 90 sort of bullet point section where it was one single solitary man acting alone with dexterity would have had to take the arm and pull it through the shirt, and that same single solitary man with one, it's just a joke of a document, because the answer to it is one man with a gun can get two girls to do anything. He walks them down the hill, he gets them to undress or whatever. I mean, which kind of sucks, gets them to undress, and then he has one of them dress again.
Yeah.
So it's easy to do all those things if you just have a gun on somebody. It makes them do things. It's not a complicated, tough story. Like, oh my God, how did that happen? Abby's is still a weird situation, right? Like, I think she dressed and was still alive when she died because her hands are curled up inside the end of the sweatshirt. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how did that, do you have a theory on that yourself? What do you think?
No, it's so sad to think about. I mean, I envision, I can see the whole crime going down, honestly, with the way he explained it, like seeing the van, getting scared in his confession. Like, it makes sense. Like, he's going to R them, and he stops, he makes them undress, and then he sees the van, he gets scared, he goes, run across, go, run across, grab your clothes, go. And I can see maybe, Libby, maybe like even Abby, maybe even said at first, get dressed, go. And, Abby's grabbing for the first clothes she can get, which happened to be Libby's clothes, right? And Libby's running across already. And so, she's not fully dressed. And then she's trying to carry clothes, and they're dropping in the creek. And one of them
that's sort of interesting. Yeah.
And one of them's keeping the phone safe, right, in the shoe, because they're hiding it, right? And so Libby hands Abby the shoe with the phone in it, and they're just, they're hauling across the creek, you know, just doing what they can. And so clothes are getting lost in the creek, and they're keeping the phone safe over everything else. Abby just happens to be kind of getting dressed, and you're right, like she's putting on the sweatshirt as they cross because there is only one of them, you know, and maybe he's more focused on Libby and Abby's a little bit, you know, behaving a little bit more. Who knows? And so they get across there, and I mean, I don't want to imagine the rest, but I do wonder if he attacked Libby first and
Exactly.
then Abby right after. And then because Libby wasn't, you know, she was kind of moving, he did those extra passes, you know, the things that just look, I don't know. And maybe,
You
I
think
don't know.
maybe
I
that
don't even want to
they?
go there. I don't even want to go there. I guess my
Yeah,
point of this
yeah,
is,
it kind of sucks.
my point is this was a very, very brutal crime. And it's not I don't understand why people think it needed two people. These were little
Right.
girls that were
Yeah.
scared to death, that had nowhere to run, that were naked or had clothes on them that didn't fit them. And
Right.
like they had nowhere to go. And he had a gun and he had a knife and he was strong, and this was not, you know, impossible for one person. And I think it was fast too. I just think it was fast and it was sudden and it was impulsive. And yeah, that's why.
Hmm.
But I do think that those girls are heroes. And I have to
Yeah.
run soon because my phone's running
Yeah.
out of batteries. But I do think those girls are heroes when during the prosecution rebuttal, when McClellan said, these girls aren't just victims, they're heroes. They captured that video. And not only just they captured the video, they kept the phone safe because they could have lost that video.
Yeah.
You know, and they, you know, and the bullet was, you know, the cartridge, but they kept that video safe. I really do think those girls together, after getting undressed and everything, being forced to undress and everything, they both were aware of that phone. And together I think they maybe even
Hmm.
passed that phone back and forth, and they kept it safe. You know, so,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
maybe
hope the
even that's
jury.
why Abby didn't get
Yeah.
back up, because she knew she was laying on top of it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's really strange because like she, like if she didn't grab herself, they say, so
Right.
like on her neck or something. I know you got to go here in a second, but what the hell? I hope the jury then thinks about that. You have this hero that films everything, and then all of a sudden you're just going to go, well, Richard Allen was treated mean, so let's just all vote not guilty. I mean, come on, Jesus, that's so ludicrous to me, because that's really what it comes down to. That's what they're going to they're trying to make it seem like, right? Like his treatment in prison, that was kind of like the last thing that they said, that, hey, don't reward them. Let's find him guilty. Just to send a message back to society that you can't be treated like that in jail or something, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's a very intriguing case by that too, because it, is this going to work? You know,
oh, I got one. I
is
do
that
have one. I do have one thing I want to ask before you have to go.
yeah,
When
yeah.
you heard the first interview, the one on the October 13th interview, 2022, did you think his voice sounded like Bridge Guy?
Yes, I did. The
Okay.
first time I heard his voice, I felt it sounded like Bridge Guy. I've always
Yeah.
felt that. I try to be honest and say, yeah, could somebody else sound like that too? Yes. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Do you think the
But
jury
yes,
was able to? They've kind of put that together.
I think so. I think they probably sense it could be him. Yeah.
Well, gosh, then I hope they get the right answer here, because there's only
Yeah.
one right answer. But anyways, hey, I appreciate you coming on here, and I know you're probably busy out there. What do you got?
No, I appreciate it too. You know, you and I have been trying to do this for quite some time, and I just hope I appreciate your patience, and I hope you know that like it's just been, not only has it been wild, it's been completely unpredictable. Every show that I've gone in, and sorry, I'm dark, but every show that I've gone in, it's been like, look, I don't know what time I'll be free, but here's a moment. Are you live? Like, I'll jump on, and
Yeah.
we're just ready for everything. But I hope that we get to sleep a little bit longer tomorrow. We'll all be there at 9, and I'll keep you guys posted. I'll keep everyone
Cool.
posted. Even if we're clearly not going into court tomorrow until the verdict's back. So I'll try to do a few lives, keep people posted, and maybe we can touch
Yeah.
base again tomorrow too.
Cool. Well, hey, I appreciate it, and be safe and warm, and get some sleep if you can.
Thanks, Gray. I
All right, have a good one.
appreciate it. Thanks,
And thanks for all
freaks.
you're doing. See you guys
We'll
later.
see ya.
We'll
Okay,
see ya.
bye.
Hey, look at that. She said, thanks, freaks. Did you hear that? That was pretty cool. All right. Well, thanks. That was very cool for her to come on. We've been talking, trying to figure it out, but they're so busy, just, trying to get sleep and get back up in the morning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But hey, guys, let's get the, we're currently at 392. We can need 110 more, and we'll be able to do the 500 to the Abby and Libby ballpark. All right. But if we do more than that, that'd be great too. Then my loss portion isn't that high, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. I thought, because it's in that first interview. That's the one that when I talked to Susan Hendricks, she says the October 13th interview where he's talking calmly. She said, "Oh my God, it sounds just like, even though it's just guys down the hill, sounds exactly the same." She said. Now, the other one, he's more intense, and then he doesn't sound the same. Yeah, but anyways, that was really cool for her to come on. Let's see. Sounds like worst case scenario, hung jury. Yeah. That's what I was saying. And I was going to tell her that I did, I messaged somebody that would know, and I asked, will you guys try him again if he's found not guilty? And the answer was yes. I mean, not guilty. If he's found, it's a hung jury. They said yes. Gray, you can't try somebody twice, you bastard. Well, why don't you wait 4 seconds for me to switch the story? Because I said it wrong. Okay. If it was a hung jury, they will try it again, right? Yeah. Come on, guys. What's going on? We just got to get 108 more, and we get the $500 we're sending to the Abby and Libby ballpark. Now, you're more than welcome to send money there. You're on your own or be part of what I'm doing here, and we're going to send $500 in to the Abby and Libby ballpark. I wish they would. Oh, wait, let me go up here. There was a bunch of people during this, so let's see. It was, see, you're my favorite. And then we have super sticker. Is that one going on there? Then Karen gifted 5 memberships. Then we have Lisa Valenzuela, Wendy Van Rokel. How long do you suppose the jury will deliberate? I'm going to guess tomorrow. I think sometime tomorrow. Is there a way to hear the voice? I can't find it. Ginger Snaps. I can play something. Let's see. Working on Richard Allen. Hey, thanks, Coco Banks. Are you trying to remind me of like Copacabana? Somebody sent me a link to that. I was like, God, that's the worst song I've ever heard again. It never gets better, you guys. Can really play the Ginger Snaps. Is it this one? No. Not that one either. No, it's this one. Here we go. There's a wheelchair coming up. Come on, play. Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. Justice for Abby and Libby. Yeah, that's not playing fast. Let me open it up with something else. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Down we're going down. I got a window check coming up.
Oh my God. Down we're going down. Cable snap. Shut up.
Cable snaps. Down the hill.
Down we're going down. Cable snap. Shut up.
Ginger Snaps. We always say Ginger Snaps.
It's not gonna snap. I'm gyrating, but it's not gonna snap. Oh my God.
There's a
There's the wheelchair coming up.
well, there's a wheel check coming up. So there's that. That's all we got. You know, that's all we got.
What? Oh my god. Lonely wheelchair.
There's a wheel check coming up.
Wasn't that interesting?
There's a wheel check coming up. So there you go. Hey, thank you, Faza's Super Babies. All right, we're currently now we just need 83 more. All right, where are we up here? Then we got we just did that one. Then is there a way to hear his voice? We just did that. Then we have Linda Jane 45 said, Gray, I missed closing. Did prosecution stress Weber's phone records? Proves he left at 2:02. Well, I mean, that's what it says. He, checked out of work at that point. I don't know what they did regarding that. If found guilty, I wonder if he will apologize to the families. Well, if he apologizes, that'll be admitting it. Another vote, which he's done 1,000 times. Another vote to hear Bridge Guy Rajal's voice comparison. For Abby and Libby, thank you, Gray. And then Troublemaker Baker gifted 5. Very cool, very cool. Thank you. And then Allison Faye, thank you for all you do. Well, thank you. H. Doc, member for 28 months. Then we've got Sandy Shirley, gifted 5. Then we have Physic, super sticker. Then Vogue Rose, super sticker. Then Lauren W. to Gray's amazing maps and videos. Well, thank you. I think I used to get offended when people go, Gray's good at the maps. But now I like it because nobody does it for some reason. They don't know what they're looking at. For Abby and Libby, thank you for putting in all the time you have helping people to see the truth, Gray. Well, thank you. I mean, that is kind of like the main purpose. I think that's one of the value that I add to the YouTube world is that I put together the information in the factual way and then try to work through it and tell you what I think it means. Okay, we speculate on the factual information, and so that means you're in a narrow window. You don't go, oh, look at that. They crossed the bridge, they're not there. What if was there any alien spacecraft sighted that day? Because it's possible that Richard Watts, 2 life terms, 50 years plus. Vegas Andrews, but it's not him if it came from Libby's phone. Hold on. My drum roll doesn't work tonight. Darn it. Then 8675309 was trying for a wave. I think people did pick up on that one. Then Play-Doh, not Play-Doh, but Plato. And Lauren W., I'll keep the wave going. Well, that's very kind of you. Then Jules Lilly. One of the juries is a psychiatrist. I know that bothers me a lot. A blank slate. Super sticker by Troublemaker Baker. Well, thank you. Coco Banks. And then, Hello Straight. Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. Justice for Abby and Libby. Yep. Then super sticker. Then Marie Pintler. And then Karen right there. So where are we at? Where are we at on the numbers here tonight? We are at we're at 429.72. You guys, we're getting close. We're getting close. Yeah, but they might try to get too psychological. Like but every time people that have psychological backgrounds, they tend to, their opinions get directed towards some sort of a diagnosis of some kind. And then, they're sort of like, yeah, well, that it's just, I don't know. It's strange. I don't know what to make of that. Now, I mean, when I was listening to Dr. John, he was doing it like how I want them all to say it. You know, like they're just think, oh yeah, this guy seems like he absolutely did it based on the information. You know, and here's what he's probably saying when he's saying this. Yeah, like you, Amber. No, not like you. I don't know. I don't think of you always like that, but there's always something. It doesn't matter what they say. If somebody says a diagnosis, then it's a diagnosis, you know, then all of a sudden, yeah. I don't know, man. I've seen that. I don't think so. That's why those experts out there. Remember, he even said that you could get 4 different people on each side to come up with something totally different. Mm-hmm. All right, you guys, we got to get up to the 500 mark to give away the 500. If he was watching kidnap movies, the psychiatrist should surely know that he would act that out in real life. I don't know. Psychiatrists seem like they like to just subscribe stuff a lot, you know. Oh yeah. What do you got? Okay, here's some meds, you know. They can misdiagnose people also because humans make mistakes. Right? They're not a robot, you know. Yeah, here's some meds. Take some of this lithium here. Yeah, that'll work for you. How about Oh, you've been angry today? Well, how about some lithium? What? I have a feeling we'll be waiting at least 2 days for the jury. Maybe Saturday, I guess. All right, you guys, what do I have to do? Dance a jig for you guys? We got to get this up here. I want to give out the $500 to Abby and Libby's ballpark. I'm already going to be losing $135 myself. So if we can just get the 429 up to 500, we'll send it in all together as a team. Amber Maiden, that's facts right there. Can't mess with the facts of low-dose meds. Symptoms only when watching non-coerced confessions. He was not home at 2:30. Who? Who are you talking to, Truthfully? Who was not home at 2:30? Richard Allen wasn't home at 2:30. He was down below the bridge. There's no evidence at all that Richard Allen was home at 2 o'clock. Why? Because he said he was? Or? You know, Richard Allen said he got there at 12 and left at 1:30 one time, but then he said he got there at 1:30 and left at 3:30. So, yeah, he's definitely still out there because that's the one that was accurate. Hey, thanks. Makes me wonder. And CR and Sunshine Susie. All right, we're at 457. 457 over here. 459 over here. 450. 455. 55. 55. 55. 60. 55. 70. 75. 80. They had his time punch card. Yeah, that showed him when he left work at 2:02. Probably got to his car at 2:04, 2:05 maybe, you know. Drove home 25 minutes. So maybe 22 minutes. You know, then he's driving by at 2:27, right when the girls would be down there. I like that theory that she had where, yeah, because we've talked about getting undressed on that side, and people talk about carrying the clothes, but yeah, what if she, quickly, like maybe Libby was trying, like, okay, and grabbed some stuff and started moving, and then she was allowed to, I don't know, man. It would take a while for somebody to dress like that. You know, even if she put on bigger clothes, it just would take a while. So it was pretty interesting. It made me think. Yorkshire Tea, I think the fence overplayed it with medieval torture picture. I hope so. But like I said before, if they're found not guilty, it'll be a travesty and there will never be justice for Abby and Libby. And that's what this was all about. So for all the idiots out there that spend all their time trying to sell and get people in society to think differently before the trial, maybe poisoning the jury pool all over the state, look in the mirror and be embarrassed of yourself. Okay, because you're going to, if they're found not guilty, there will never be justice in this lifetime, anyways. I want to have faith in my country to make the right decision. Anyways, does anybody want to come up and talk on here? We are at 474. We just need $25 more. That's it. And if anybody else wants to just randomly help out, that'd be great. Cut into the 130 or whatever the hell it is. Gianna Jacobs. As far as solitary confinement is a factor of his alleged abuse, mental health issue, he had a sitter with him 24/7. Right. There's people there. And he met with the psychologist. Oh, hold on. All right. Prediction for verdict is Tuesday. You think it's going to be all the way next week? So you think it's going to be Friday a full day, Saturday a full day, Monday a full day? Now, if it lasts that long, I might actually, that would be nervous. I mean, it's either one, it's really just one thing. It's that there's a holdout of guilt or a holdout of not guilty. All right. So that's it. And I hope anybody that says guilty absolutely does not cave in to anybody and keeps it. Oh, look at that. We got Faza's Super Babies. We're only like 5 short now. Huh? Hello, man? What are you talking about, Randy? No, I think she also thinks it's Bridge Guy. But, you know, I think the defense is trying to appeal to the... I don't know how to say it, what to say, but I don't think she's naive or anything like that. I don't agree with that. I just think some people, when they listen to something, they get moved by it. I think if I was on that jury, knowing what I know, you know, I would look at him and just go, "Yeah, that's bullshit." You know, oh, come on, that little guy, screw him. Esther M, gifted a membership. All right, we're now $1 short. Not sure why that didn't make it, but we're still short. Was that an Australian money? No. Oh, there we go. And then Lauren W jumped in there. All right. So here we go. There it is. The Abby and Libby Ballpark. And we're going to donate now. All right. I have to move it off the screen. I think I have to sign in again, I think. So hold on. I'll show it to you on the screen anyways. Yep, wants me to sign in. And right now, I'm a cross between Satan and Gordon Ramsay. Man, that sucks. All right, here we go. This is the on the screen thing that popped up after that. It says, thanks for donating $500 to the Libby Nabby Ballpark. All right, and then I'll go to my email. Let's see, email, and there it is right there at the bottom. It says, You've donated $500 US to Living Abbey Ballpark. There you go. There's the proof right there on the screen. Just came in, and look at that, 7:16 0 minutes ago. All right. So there you go for all the trolls out there. Oh wait, look at it. Looks like Paulette Leonard and Peggy Day and Scott P said you are the only Delphi podcaster who isn't a fearmonger. Your friend, I won't say it. I don't want you to be able to connect the name to the name. I didn't know he put his name in there, the YouTube name. But thank you. And then the other one is Carolyn. That was from yesterday. I didn't see that one. Yeah. And also, Peggy Day. Very cool, very cool. You know, it's weird as I feel tired from the Delphi case, and I'm not even there. I can't imagine. I mean, those guys are freaking madmen. Madmen, including women and men. It's just like, God, you're just insane. How do you do it? I mean, the only way to do it is to have the sitter, I think. So there you go, everybody. We've given the ballpark during this trial so far $2,335. Not too bad, right? For a kind of a medium-sized YouTube channel, Apparently, people are passing around the leaked. Yeah, it's going around right now. The leaked crime scene photos are starting to move around. It's not, what's weird is what a stupid time to do that. It doesn't mean anything at all. It's not affecting anything. Sadly, though, if there is a retrial, then all of a sudden the crime scene photos are out there for everybody to see. Richard Allen is bridge guy, everybody. There is no doubt. Put a 1 in here if you still are confused and don't know that Richard Allen is bridge guy, and still think it after you've seen my animation. Are you still confused that he's bridge guy even after seeing this animation here? Missy, well, let's see. What do you got here? Oh, yeah. It's weird. So right now I'm using my OBS to control what you see of me. And then I'm using that's in StreamYard. So I'm using the virtual camera. I know, it's pretty complicated. Hey, thank you, Lisa. Very cool, very cool. I'm still here. I'm just... All right. Let's see. Gifted one. Faza Super Babies. Gifted a membership to Willa's Pony. Oops. God, what's going on? My phone just starts I'm texting and it just starts recording what I'm saying. What's going on, man? What's going on? Thank you, Georgina Stoliker. All right, we're going to do it again, you guys. For those out there who haven't seen it yet, or if you're still a little bit confused, you'll see exactly why. Even when the probable cause came out, like if I was to tell you a story that looked like this. So these girls right here, they cleared the entire area from 12:25 all the way to 1:30. All right, so Richard Allen's story about being there from 12 to 1:30 is bogus. So anyways, at 12:43, they're at the, there's 4 girls, but I just have 3 spheres. They're at the bridge at 12:43. They make their way, they stop at 1:26 at a bench. Then at 1:27, a vehicle matching Richard Allen's 2016 black Ford Focus with special rims, the rims, but they're see-through rims that only that model had. It pulls up and then backs into the abandoned CPS building. And those three girls, they're heading out too, and Richard Allen passes them, just like he told Dan Doolin. They saw him and he saw them. All three girls said a little different description, but also said the person that they saw was Bridge Guy. And then those girls continue out, and then Betsy Blair in red comes around. Richard Allen makes his way to the bridge because he said he went right to the bridge after passing the girls. Then Betsy Blair gets out, starts walking, and then she makes her way to the bridge. And guess what? When she gets there, she sees a man standing on platform 1, exactly where Richard Allen said he was standing in the interview in 2022. He was standing on platform 1. What were you wearing, Richard Allen? Well, I was wearing blue jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket, a hoodie, and some sort of head covering, which is exactly what the bridge guy is wearing in the video. And then, to make matters worse for him, after Betsy Blair apparently turns around at 2 o'clock there, she passes Abby and Libby. So maybe Abby and Libby sort of hung over in this area for a while. And then the girls would get there, like at 2:02 or something. I don't know what time. I don't know. We don't know exactly where they passed, but it was somewhere in between. She passed them. And then Abby and Libby therefore have to run into Richard Allen, who's right there. And we know that in Libby's video, Richard Allen is the guy in the video because he's wearing exactly the same clothing and he's placed himself at the scene. Then he has the girls go down the hill. So even at this point right here, I can tell you that I would be 100% certain that bridge guy is Richard Allen because there's no other option. There isn't another person flipping. Like, where did he go? Why didn't he see the other bridge guy? Why didn't he see Abby and Libby? He says he doesn't see him. And then when they asked him, is that you in the picture? Well, if the girl took the picture, no, it's not me. Right. But what you're really saying is, yes, that's me. But if that girl took it, it can't be me. So it's ridiculous. And then he has a confession that only the killer would know. So that was something I was going to ask Lauren. I go, doesn't that just sort of seal the deal? That he has information, and then the trolls show up. Gray, how did you know about it before Richard Allen? And I say, I didn't. I heard it was the rumor was that in one of his confessions, he said that he saw a white van. In March, I heard this year. In April, the year before, is when he confessed with that in there. Do you get it, Sherlocks? Do you understand that? Probably not. Probably not. We know how it works in here. Have the IQs suddenly just dropped? Remember that from Sigourney Weaver in Aliens? I already told you it was a derelict spacecraft. They weren't from there. Hey, when he said those words and it was pointed out, it was just for the purpose of the public. Troublemaker maker. Oh, what a troublemaker. I think Richard Allen. Let's see. Wait, where is that? I think Richard Allen lurked and waited until. Yeah, that's what I've said 100 times. Troublemaker Baker. Yeah. Come on, you've watched my show. You know that's part of my thing, right? Look, watch. The two girls come to the bridge. See the blue dot there? Then Richard Allen goes back a ways, and he lurks, like I'll use your word even, and he waits. And then he watches the girls, and when they get far enough across, he makes his move. You see that? This is the same animation I've had for 7 or 8 months at this point. And there it is, down the hill. And then right there is, I think, is where he was going to assault them. A van drives by, then he takes them across over there. Come on, Troublemaker Baker. Jeez. Let's see. Lots of give and take behind the doors of deliberations. Hope there are a few strong players. Well, I hope a person... I think we can all probably agree. You don't want the person who is you don't want the person who is patience, Gray. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You don't want one of the Richard Allen didn't do it. Ooh, I believe the defense to be anywhere near being a foreman in this case. You don't want him anywhere near there because they're going to be the strong person going, hey, no, look at this. Look at that. They didn't say that. So, wow, we can throw that one out. And look at that. The girl saw 3 different guys. And if your brain works, you realize that I think they actually said that today at trial, that people, when they remember seeing somebody, they're not all the same. But when they saw the bridge guy, they said, yes, that's the person I saw. That's it. Ding, 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 ding. If Richard Allen is acquitted, I somewhat blame Kathy Allen because, yeah. So you could look at it like that. You could say that Kathy Allen, she knows her husband did it. He said he did it. And she was willing to not allow 2 kids to get justice and have the entire courtroom and everybody see the bodies of Abby and Libby where there's no reason for that at all. He tried to confess. He even wrote a written confession. How did that not somehow make it somewhere where it's just sort of over at that point? I don't understand that. Like, how many times do you have to confess before it technically becomes real? You know what I mean? Like when what did he have to ask for the prosecutor to come in and sit there and then confess? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could see her not wanting him to be guilty, so. Obviously, Richard Allen, his bridge guy, has been watching the show and changed their name to that. Because that's like, this channel said that first, like 8 months ago. I made a video called Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. And then it actually showed up in one of the McClellan documents later. It was like, wow. Maybe it's just logical thinking. I don't know. But I trust the judicial process. If the prosecution did their job, there's no way the jury will find him not guilty. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I don't know. Kind of tired. I trust the judicial system. That's around the first guy, huh? So I call, but this emoji is hilarious. Yeah, it is a no-brainer. This is technically a very simple case. Richard Allen pointed him out as being bridge guy himself. 4 different witnesses place him where he has to be at the bridge when Abby and Libby get there. He himself says in a confession where only the killer would know that he took the girls across the bridge, or he caught up to them he tracked them down, caught up to them, ejected a bullet, had them go down the hill, was going to assault them below. Then he saw a van drive by that only the killer would know, took him across the creek, did whatever he was doing over there, then eventually killed them, and then made sure they didn't suffer, then went up above and went out and got back to his car somehow. That's it. That's all that matters. I mean, and a bullet. Oh, by the way, a bullet was found at the crime scene that was ejected from his gun. Notice how I left that part out and it still made all the sense in the world without even talking about the bullet? That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, bullet's just sort of like, oh, cool, yeah, that's gravy. Places him at the crime scene, but we already knew he was at the crime scene because he took the girls down the hill and was across the creek and then took them across, and his gun is why he was able to control them and do everything he wanted to do, and he was acted alone, and he even admitted that. Yep, I've done all I can do, but I'll be doing another show tomorrow. Well, definitely, I'm going to have to get up sort of early, I think. You know, maybe, I don't know what time, maybe 8 in the morning or something. But anyways, I want to thank everybody tonight who was helping support the channel. I think I just went through all of them a minute ago. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys. We were able to send $500 off to the Abby and Libby ballpark. Tonight's, today's going to be a loss for me, but at the same time, we just keep on moving through the month. You predict a not guilty? Yeah. That would be a sad day, wouldn't it, Claire? Wouldn't that be a sad day, Claire? If there was a not guilty verdict at 11 a.m. where 2 girls will never get justice? Man, that would be disgusting, wouldn't it? Man, I sure hope you agree with that. I'm growing on you? You're a channel member. What's going on? Did you get a freebie? Hey, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Red Fox Bahaha. What the heck? Jesus. Good night, Gray. Also, are we going to watch Trump be sworn in? Well, of course. I'll probably be on there before that, there's all these interesting things going on. I'm nervous for him. They tried to take him out twice, while he was running. Now he's the actual, elected person. And man, these same psychos are going to be even more desperate, right? But hopefully at this point they double up the security. Let's see. All right. Anyways, I want to say thanks again, everybody. Been ridiculous, and I want to say thanks to Lauren for coming on here. And it was a little bit rough on her at the beginning of the case, but she absolutely proved me wrong on that, because I sat and watched a couple of her shows, and I was like, holy shit! The way she goes through those notes is freaking insane. 2 hours of completely just going through the note. That is a ton of notes. Probably caught half of every word said in the whole day. That's crazy. So then I was like, okay, well, this is pretty good here. And so I would go through some of the regular notes and and then listen to her, and it was just night and day. Not even close. Yeah. Let's see. So anyway, thanks, Nana Caroline, and Nana Caroline again. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Very cool, very cool. We'll see you guys tomorrow, though, right? I don't know what you're talking about, Plato. I don't know where it is or anything. Sorry. I don't know what you're saying. Is there a comment up here? 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. I don't know where it is. Sorry. Let me try to find it. Oh. Is this the one that says Troublemaker Baker? That's how I understand what was released to the public was a mashup to include the person and the voice, but he actually closer and wait, you're kidding, right? Wait, you're not one of the video is fake idiots, are you? Come on, seriously. When he said those words and it was pointed down, it was just for the purpose of the public. Troublemaker Baker. There are a lot of people out there with 2 brains. Oh, that's pretty good. The way you said that about the video, I wasn't sure what you're saying. There's a lot of people out there with 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place. You'll never get through to them. Hey, I like that one. Here we go. Look at. Wait, I can't put that on the screen because it's not in the right side of the thing. That is a good one, though. Darn it. Hope you weren't talking about the video. Maybe you were talking about somebody else with the video. But yeah, I can't put that on the screen, Red. Sorry about that. That was a good one, though. My brain's too mushy right now to, you know, this is like second show today. Just, I have no malice. 2 brain cells. Wait, what was it? Fighting over the third? I don't even remember now. Anyway, okay. All right, you guys, is that it? That was pretty funny, though. That was pretty funny. Good one, Red. Good one. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out the door. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Ah, Jesus.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing
Hit the
for
wrong
a while
button.
now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person
Holy crap.
that is a...
I'm the sector of a projector.
I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all. Just remember, I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
All right, everybody. Be safe out there. Oh, God. Bing.